Hello, this is first assignment for Intro to CS class, and the topic is matrices. We for this assignment we had three main tasks to do, and let's go on. The first task is the first. In general, we had to have two files, util.js and main.js, and in util.js we had to write some functions, and we had to import that functions from in main.js and call them in there. So the first task says that we had to create a function matrix product in util.js, which returns new matrix that is the product of matrix 1 and matrix 2. So we had to go to util.js, and for additionally I have written a little function that will print matrix more beautiful way, and our matrix product function is this. uh, it takes two matrices, and first of all it checks if the length of uh, length of the first matrix is equal to the height of the second matrix or not, because that is prerequisite for multiplying matrices. If they are not equal, it returns a message, and stops and doing the rest of operations. If they are equal, it continues and creates a variable with with uh, empty array inside called product, and then it iterates over the height of the first matrix, and pushes that much arrays in the product array, because the height of the product is the same as the height of the first matrix. And then for after every array pushing, it iterates over the length of the second matrix, which is also the length of the product. It creates new element, which is null yet, and we have an uh, we have a formula for calculating the elements, for calculating the element of the product of matrices, and that formula is this, but it is also in more in easier way, by represented by sigma, where it iterates from 1 uh, to the length of the first matrix and the height of the second matrix, which is the same number, and summarizes these elements from the first and second matrices. It can be easily done by for loop, which we had done which we have done here. And then after we calculate that element, we push that element in corresponding row of the product matrix. And when these for loops are done, we have a product of the matrix which we are returning. So in the main.js file, I have made also short representations of the functions, giving a callback function to variable, so I can call the variable and not the long version of the path. And also here is our print matrix function, which we have defined here. So calling it in short, and we have three matrices. Matrix mat A and mat B are matrices that can be easily uh, multiplied, and we will see it here. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. Node main.js, and here is the matrix, and all this has been done by print matrix print matrix uh, function, which also has second argument as the name of the matrix, and if it is not and if it doesn't exist, the function will automatically name the matrix anonymous. The second task was writing function that will calculate the sum of two matrices, which is the sum of two corresponding elements, which has elements which are sums of corresponding elements in first and second matrices. And now we check if matrix 1 length is equal to the length of the matrix 2, and also we check the here we check if the heights of the matrices are equal, and here we check if rows of the matrices are equal, because only in that condition the sum of the matrices will work, and otherwise it will return a message. If these conditions are true, we create a new array called sum, variable called sum, and assign array to it, and we write a for loop which iterates over first matrix and first matrix height, and it adds arrays, all or rows of the same quantity in the sum matrix, and then after adding a row it iterates over the row of the first matrix, and uh, and adds in the corresponding row of sum matrix the the sum of corresponding matrix elements, first and second matrix elements, and when it is done it returns the matrix sum, which is simply our sum matrix. Here we have sum of matrices variable assigned to callback function, which we can call here. It will sum up mat I and mat C. Mat C because the sizes of matrices have to be equal, their height and length, and it will call the matrix, the name of the matrix sum. Now, and let's comment the product of the matrix. It, we don't want it to bother us. Now if we call, it will sum up all the elements: 1 plus 6 7, 2 plus 5 7, 3 plus 4 7, and if we change this to 8, it will change this element to 3 plus 8 11. Yes. And the next task is is that we in util.js had to write a function that will calculate the sum of each row, and return array with sums of each row in corresponding index. uh, and in util.js we have, and also uh, we had to use a function named sum of array that will return the sum of any integer array elements. So first we had to write the sum of array function, which is simply this. We create a variable which value is 0. We iterate over array and for each element and we sum up each element to that zero valued variable, and then return the sum of all values of the array. And then we will use that in sum of each row function. We will create a new array for for returning sums of each row of matrix, and then iterate on each row of matrix, and create a variable sum of row, and call our function, which is simply a module that expresses the sum of array, because sum of array is method of the model exports, which we have defined as an object. And then we push that value into some R array, which is simply our array with row with sums of each row of matrix. And now and here we have sum of each row variable, which is a function in what we have returned the callback function. So let's comment the sum of matrix and the sum of each, and because the sum of each row returns not matrix but an array, we will print it with console log. And for example, let's print the sum of each row of mat A, which is what 1 2 3. The sum of this array is 4, this row is 4 is 6 and the sum of this row is 15. So it has to return us a array with 6 and 15 in it, which it does. This was the all these were the all tasks of our first homework. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you liked it. Don't forget to hit like button and subscribe button.